the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Peace and Black Power family, welcome to another Sarnetta TV House of Consciousness production. I have a special message. There are Hebrew Israelites in Africa, and I'm not just talking about the brothers that come from America that go over there. I'm talking about Africans who are Hebrew Israelites. So you hear the Hebrews always saying that the Africans are not their people. They are so and so. Well, check this out, family. Check it out.
You should. You are African. You not my people. I don't give a damn what language you speak. And you still a stinking African. You still a stinking African.
Where you from, sister? Where your forefathers from? Africa? What part of Africa you from? West Africa? Which country?
Ghana.
Ghana? Okay, so you from Ghana. Now listen. What we teaching today is the Israelites are the so-called blacks, the so-called Hispanics who went into the slave trade, all right? So your people, obviously, you didn't go into the slave trade, y'all stayed back. You didn't go into the slave trade, y'all stayed back. Obviously, you didn't go into the slave trade, y'all stayed back.
Let me tell you something. We think slavery in America was something. Slavery in Africa is still in force. But they know less about their history than you and I do.
While much has been written concerning the transatlantic slave trade, surprisingly little attention has been paid to the Islamic slave trade across the Sahara, the Red Sea, and the Indian Ocean. While the European involvement in the African transatlantic slave trade to the Americas lasted for just over 3 centuries, the Arab involvement in the African slave trade has lasted 14 centuries, and in some parts of the Mohammedan world is still continuing to this day.
slave trading is a thriving business. Northern militias are raiding villages in the south for slaves, which they then take back to the north. They keep them in their households or sell them to other masters.
The Islamic slave trade took place across the Sahara Desert, from the coast of the Red Sea, and from East Africa across the Indian Ocean. The Trans-Sahara trade was conducted along 6 major slave routes. Just in the 19th century, for which we have more accurate records, 1.2 million slaves were brought across the Sahara into the Middle East, as well as a further 450,000 down the Red Sea and 442,000 from the East African coastal ports. That is a total of 2 million black slaves just in the 1800s. At least 8 million more were calculated to have died before reaching the Muslim slave markets. Only 5% of the slaves ended up in what we call the United States today. However, a minimum of 28 million Africans were enslaved in the Muslim Middle East, and in some parts of the Mohammedan world is still continuing to this day.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, from the one end of the earth even unto the other.
These are the Sidi people, the descendants of black Africans who live in communities close to the coast in this area and across India.
The Sidis, whose features are remarkably African, live across India, where we came face to face with abject poverty. Impoverished and outcasted, they have remained racially intact.
The Sidis are descended from Africans who came to India. The Muslim princes brought us here from Africa. We have been in Gujarat for 600 years. They were brought here as slaves. They were brought here to work.
The Sidis' arrival can be traced back to the 10th century, when many came aboard the dhows of Arab merchants who traded with kingdoms along India's west coast. The Arabs are believed to have captured the Sidis after raids on coastal Bantu villages in East Africa. The men mostly work as farm helps for the Indians and ironically are regarded as encroachers.
The Sidi, in terms of social structure,
they are at the bottom of the pile. And for that reason, they would have lots of problems.
The Sidis have been branded as incapable of intellectual endeavors, only talented in music and sports.
Peace and blessings. Kohen Netanya Halevi, Rabbi, living in Ghana, West Africa for the past 21 years, originally from New York.
Being in Africa for 21 years, have you ever came across any Hebrew Israelites that's there? Because when we out here on the street, the Hebrews say, we not African, we hate these damn Africans.
Most Africans are not our people, you understand? But the west coast of Africa, all right, down all the way to South Africa, that's where they were getting us. Right? Our people, the so-called black Americans, black West Indians, we're not of the African people. They got us from Africa, but we're not African. You're gonna understand what I'm saying, all right?
Now, after the Romans destroyed the last temple of the people of the Hebrew faith, 70 A.D., now you got to watch it. I see no migration pattern that took them into Europe. I do see a migration pattern that took a large number of them into inner West Africa, where a large number of people of the Hebrew faith lived in ancient Ghana, lived in peace.
Being in Africa for 21 years, have you ever came across any Hebrew Israelites that's there?
Of course, I've come across many Hebrew communities in West Africa. In fact, many of the ethnic groups that make up what we know today as Ghanaian, Nigerian, and many of the member states of ECOWAS have indigenous Hebrew Israelite origins. If you to study the original journey of the people there, their own narrative of their own migration patterns, you find the Akan, which is made up of the Ashanti, the Fanti, the Akwapem, the Achem. Many of them trace themselves back to the ancient Hebrew Israelites in Palestine. Those who do not trace their origin back to the Nile Valley Basin, which is where the great migration took place from.
You can see how they came from the north towards the west and the east of Africa. So at some point in time, this whole area was called So-Yuda. So So-Yuda has now become known as Sudan today. So is the name of the land. Yuda is Judah. These two words today are known as Sudan, the name of the country.
Did you know that Sudan is an ancient name for the Yahudians, the black Yahudians, Judah, the tribe of Judah? And did you know that the tribe of Judah exists in Ethiopia? Of course they do.
These are the builders of ancient kingdoms and civilization that goes all the way back to the Nile Valley Basin. These are the ancient people of the ancient Mali, Songhai, Ghana empires when they came from the western Sudanic areas.
Negro. Look at what it says here. A member of the dominant group of mankind in Africa, characterized generally by a dark skin. So it's telling you that the Negroes are different from all other African races. Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, he became the progenitor of the dark races. Semicolon. Not the Negroes. See that? I highlighted it. Not the Negroes. So Negroes is not part of Ham. It's going to tell you now who's part of Ham. But the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, the Libyans, and the Canaanites. Genesis chapter 10 and 6, the table of nations. And we're not Canaan either, so you can't say the Negroes are Canaan.
If your people have lived in certain parts of Africa, like for instance Ghana, Ethiopia, Nigeria, then it is 99.9% likeliness that you're a Hebrew. You're a chosen person of the Most High God.
So if you're not nobody on this sign, if your forefathers not from Puerto Rico, he ain't from Dominican Republic, he ain't from Cuba, or the West Indies, so on and so forth, what you see on this sign, don't worry about it. But if you are, this is for you.
There are a few people in the Hebrew community, not many, but there are a sect of those who basically have been misinformed and continue to misinform and perpetuate that misinformation that Africans have nothing to do with the ancient children of Abraham and the people of the Bible. And that's a misnomer that say it's false information. Unfortunately, those of us in the West have been subject to miseducation through two major institutions. The Western religious institutions and the Western academic educational institutions. Both of them have done a successful job in miseducating us to who the African really is, and therefore perpetuating a self-hate syndrome in the African.
You are African, you not my people. I don't give a damn what language you speak, and you still a stinking African. And you still a stinking African. You still a stinking African.
So we try to escape our identity with Mother Africa through any means necessary. We call ourselves everything but African, Asiatic, we call ourselves Native American. And unfortunately, we have not been able to escalate the program of lifting that consciousness fast enough, to be able to eradicate that ignorance from the mouths of our people, and most of all from the minds and heart of our people.
Beautiful.
We want to go to this African statement where I have this African confession on tape that he know we are two different manner of people. We're talking about the seed of Ham, and that they sold us into captivity, and that they was cutting our ancestors' heads off, okay, and that they was eating, okay, the heads because they were a bunch of heathens. Just like it says in Jeremiah the 10th chapter, follow not the ways of the heathens, and how he specifically distinguished that he come from a different bloodline, a different ethnic origin from the so-called Afro-American, Jamaican, Haitian, Puerto Rican, Panamanian, Cubans, Mexicans, okay, so on and so forth, and the so-called black, brown-skinned Native American Indians, okay, and all the brothers and sisters in the shanty towns of North, Central, and South America of so-called Negroid descent.
The problem is, you Israelites, you black people in this country, what do you say about them? You call them animals or something? I call them inferior. I call you slaves. We turn you into slaves, and when we didn't need it no more, we kick you out of Israel, and out of Egypt and out of Africa. We sold you to America, and that's where we want you to stay, and we don't want you back in Africa again. Now, you black people in this country, it's time for you to wake up and realize that this sick, shit, this stink doo-doo-eating African does not care about you. He's not your people. He hates you, and that's why he sold you out of Africa. And you admit that, right?
Huh?
You're admitting that today on 40
the white man is not a devil. We sold you to the white man.
Right.
If we had sold you to our devil, you would not be alive today.
Now,
Killed you already.
Now, let's get back.
Our
You
devil.
remember, you did.
We don't want you to die yet, so we didn't
you
kill the devil.
chop our heads off in slavery and all that and sacrifice it to your God?
We ate it. What do you mean sacrifice it?
Say it again?
We ate the goddamn heads when we chopped them off. We didn't sacrifice you.
Oh,
we used to eat your assholes over there.
In Africa?
Yeah.
Before you
You
sold us.
forgot that we used to eat the men over there. We used to
Before
eat
you
people.
sold us to
Yeah.
America. You used to eat
And then when we got fed up of your flesh, it was no good anymore. And we thought it was unclean. We decided to sold you into slavery to get rid of you. In case you multiply and subdue the earth over there.
Okay, now, but let's get back to the point because you're trying to get away from it. Why wasn't he able to stop the hand of the Lord, the Israelite God, the God of Israel, from delivering his people from such a powerful, mighty nation? How come your God didn't do that?
Let me
How
tell
come
you.
he didn't stand up for Pharaoh and save Pharaoh's
Because we
from being
said-
drowned in the Red Sea?
We said, get your assholes, you Israelites, out of your goddamn country and take your God with you. And we don't want to see a box of you anymore.
That's a lie. You were forced to let go the children of Israel.
No matter how we were, it doesn't matter. We were glad to see you how
I know you was glad. You was glad because you was getting your asses kicked.
And you came back.
You was
And we
glad.
kicked you out
You was
again.
glad because you was getting your asses kicked.
No, it's when
over
you
there.
came back, we decided to sell you.
You was glad.
You know what? When they came back, when you came back to Africa,
You was
we sold
glad
you to
because you
slaves.
was getting your asses kicked. That's why. Okay, now listen.
We were beating your assholes with whip and turning into slaves. How could we get our asses kicked? We were beating your assholes with whip.
Yeah?
I'm making you burden, making you carry, making you into slaves. We were whipping your asses every day.
Right, but you know what? Okay, right. He said that the problem is you Israelites, you black people in this country. What do you say about them? You call them animals or something?
I call them inferior. I call you slaves. We turn you into slaves, and when we didn't need you no more, we kick you out of Israel, out of Egypt and out of Africa. We sold you to America, and that's where we want you to stay, and we don't want you back in Africa again.
12 years a slave, man. They showed you when they deceived the guy, and then he woke up, he was drunk. Then he woke up and shit, and then all of a sudden he tried to move his hands. Then he went, and then he saw some chains. Then he looked, then he bucked out. Now when I was in the theater, man, I had to check my shit, man.
Yeah.
I want, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, to see if they ain't locked me up, man.
Yeah.
Cause hey, when I saw the movie, I felt like I was in slavery, man. That goddamn movie made me feel like I was actually in slavery, man.
Yeah,
and I was getting mad as hell, man. And my wife was sitting there and I was like,
man.
You had the other people up in there watching like it's a movie.
This is the movie.
I'm watching the shit like it's like a time tunnel and shit, man.
It actually happened. Like a time machine.
Yeah, that really happened.
Yep.
Now we asked Polite when he was out here, when he was here. We said, Polite, you see 12? Nah, I don't watch movies like that.
He said, no, I'm beyond that. I'm beyond that. Hey, Polite is a fucking clown, man. Polite is a fucking clown.
Hey, well, he's already a slave to his woman.
And like I said, as soon as you lose all them goddamn goodies, man, you know? Hey, you were like Job. Hey, Job had all them goodies. He had more goodies than you. But when the Most High took all them goodies from him, when Satan took all them goodies, what did his wife do?
He slid out the fence.
She said, curse the Lord and died. And then he looked at her.
Yeah.
He said, who is this bitch?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And he said, you were just like one of them foolish women. But he didn't know that because when the goodies were coming in, she was like, yes, my Lord. Yes, my Lord.
Whatever you say, my Lord.
Whatever you say. Would you like some more?
Whatever you like.
Would you like? I call. Yes, my Lord. Yes.
Yep. What do you want to eat tonight, my Lord?
And he was talking about, oh, I got a good woman. I got a good. When you lost all them goddamn goodies, man, your woman said, curse the Most High and die.
Yeah, Job thought he had a good woman. Because he made that statement, you speak as one of the foolish women speaking. So before that, Job just knew he had a woman that was on point.
Virtuous woman. Then when that happened,
yeah, like kind of like a guy that we know, Nate.
Yeah.
He thinks he has he thinks he has Sarah. He thinks he had. She probably thinks she's a reincarnation of Sarah, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So say
that I'm talking about that black dragon.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of. Yeah. So for Job to make that statement, you speak as one of the foolish women. That's letting you know Job thought highly of his woman up until that episode.
Yeah, because she was playing that role, man. She was playing that role.
Yes, my lord.
Yes, my lord.
So that shows you, man, and that also shows you.
You're from West Africa? Okay. You from West Africa?
Okay. Nigeria?
Senegal.
Senegal?
Are you from Senegal? Okay. But you're from West Africa. And you from Senegal.
Senegal is from Mali. Senegal is in the west.
Okay. Well, you know what, man. Now you had a lot of Israelites that came out of the West Africa. Now, if you're those descendants, then you're down with us.
Yeah.
But if not, you're going to have to go into slavery along with the white man.
That's right.
You're serious?
That's right.
Hey, but like I said earlier, we're not going to kick your ass like we kicked the white man's ass.
You can't kick our ass.
Huh?
You can't.
When we get the power, we're going to kick your ass.
You can kick me. You know why?
Why?
Because I'm better than you. I'm African.
But good. Let me shake your hand. Let me shake your hand. No, let me shake your hand. No, let me shake your hand. No, I like this statement.
I like that.
He said,
I like that.
Hold on. No, let me ask you a question now. Let me ask you a question.
I'm the real black person.
Good. No, let me ask one more question. You don't respect the blacks in America?
You don't respect me.
You don't respect the blacks in America?
You don't respect me.
Do you?
Why did you say that? Why did you say that you wouldn't kick my ass? You can kick my ass. If you kick me, you kick yourself.
No, but I'm not African. I'm not African. I'm not African, man. Good for you. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. But that's good. Be proud of that, man. That's why I like you, man. You know why I like you?
Come on, man.
I like this guy. You know why? Because he knows he's an African, right? Now, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
The blacks in this country, are they Africans?
They call themselves African Americans.
No, that was a political term. No, that was a political term.
Listen.
Prior to that, they were calling themselves Negroes and colours.
You put it that way. You put it in a political way.
Okay.
I'm not putting it in a political way. I said I'm African.
But that's a
you know why? You know why?
Yeah.
Because I was born and raised in Africa.
Okay.
You African Americans.
But am I African?
But you African American.
No.
What made you African? Because you black?
No. Was I born in Africa? Listen, if I was born in Africa, what tribe did I come from?
I don't know, because you were not born over there.
So shouldn't I say maybe I'm not an African?
You said you African American.
I never said I was African American, man. I said I was an Israelite. Do you know about the Israelites?
I heard of it.
Okay, good. We're the Israelites.
It's India. Come on, man. Let's go, man.
I'm African.
Okay, well that's good.
Come on, man.
You know what you are. I know what I am. So don't try.
I already said I'm an Israelite.
I don't have a problem with
that. But one more question, man. One more question, man. And one more question. No. Listen, I want y'all to listen to this, right? What do you know about the black conscious community?
Black who?
Did you hear what he said?
Ask me.
No. What do you know? No.
Listen, I'm not from here.
But I'm saying you should know. But you should know about the black conscious community, right?
Yeah, up in Harlem. What it is?
Up in Harlem. Do you know Brother Polite?
Why would I know something about Harlem?
Why don't you?
I'm not from Harlem. Ask me something about my country. Answer you. Ask me something about Harlem. You should know something about Harlem because you're from Harlem.
We're all from Harlem. See, these Hamites put us in. You can see by the way the man's answered the question, he knows that he's not of us.
Right. I'm not one of you.
No. Thank you. Let me shake your hand again, man. I like this guy. I like him. Did you hear that, Sarnetta? Did you hear that Sarah Suit and Seti? Did you hear that Sarah Suit and Seti?
You don't want to be like me. I don't want to be like you.
You guys are going into slavery.
You say you're different.
Do I look like I'm a slave?
You're gonna be.
When?
In the time when the white man goes out.
You slave already.
You're right about that.
Do I look like a slave?
No, but you are gonna look like a slave.
You're gonna be like a slave.
No, we're not. We already
You're
were
already
slavery.
enslaving you.
Of course, the white man put us in slavery.
Because you don't know where you're from. That's why you're enslaving yourself.
Yes, we do. We're Israelites, man.
If you really knew where you're from, you wouldn't be here.
Where would we be? Hold on, where would we be? Hold on. If we know, no. Where would we be? 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 If we knew we were Africa,
The white man got you in slavery. Africa's a white man.
Hey, polite. See, that's why you got to come down here, polite. Them are your brothers right there. Them are your brothers right there, man.
You bullshit. That's that bullshit.
Hey, what can I say, son? Once again, that's different. That's the white man. That's the different part too.
You don't know nothing about Africa. You don't know shit about Africa.
What's the original name of Africa?
Just stand
What's
here
the original
and
name
say
of Africa?
Your bullshit.
You're bullshit. What's the original name of Africa?
Leave Africans alone.
Do you know? Huh?
We're too good
What's
to
the original name?
of Africa is Africa.
Yeah, see, you don't know. These Africans, they don't even know. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know that. You don't know that.
You're the sons of. That's who you are. You are a Hamite, and you're beneath us. We're Israelites. We were created.
Who are you to tell me that
I'm an Israelite.
I'm below you?
I'm an
You know
Israelite.
about the
I'm a
Israelites?
Hebrew Israelite.
We're the Israelites.
The son of Abraham.
Okay, you can be
Okay,
African.
cool.
You can be African.
You can be
Well, I'm
African.
gonna tell you what you really are.
What I am?
You really are. You know.
There you go.
You know the story about Ham.
You
Do you know the story about
You
Ham?
can take yourself out of me. You know why? Because I'm above you.
I like the way you said it. Man. That's why I like you.
Why would I like you? Why would I put you
I like you.
Hey, my brother.
I like you. You know why? Because he knows you're a Hamite, but you got black people in America that think that they're Hamites, man.
They're not.
And they're not.
They're not the same.
Guys like Sarah Suit and Seti, guys like Polite, all right, Sarnetta, almost, I don't know if he's still an Israelite. I know he was an Israelite 2 weeks ago. I don't know if he's still an Israelite, but we had some real Hamites, man.
We got it on
We
camera.
had some real seed of Kemet.
Hey, see that? Hey, that's a confession part too.
And like I said before, you can come, see there's certain Israelite groups out there that are certain elements come against them.
Yeah.
They don't want, they might want to fight, they might, you know, they don't want the guy around. You can come the way you want to come, man. Right. I don't want you to leave. Cause we're at the helm of the ship, man.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
That's my new saying. We're at the helm of the ship, and we're going to steer the ship the way we want it to be steered through the power of Yahweh Bashanel.
That's right.
We're going to see, that's all edification.
Yeah, we get
That's all edification, man.
You get information.
That's right. You get information. How they really feel. He said, I'm better than you. You come from me. I'm better than you. That's how the Hamites think about you black African Americans, man. Okay? And let me say this to you, Polite and Sarnetta, and all your debates that you have, and you all said that your Kemet, you go back to Kemet. I don't see no guys like that at your debates, man.
Yeah, true.
I don't see guys like that debating against y'all, man.
He didn't even know. When you said Harlem, he said Harlem. Woo? What?
I said Black Consciousness Movement. He said what? What? That's a Harlem thing, man. Ain't nothing but Harlem, another Harlem hustle. That's all that is, man. Ain't nothing but a goddamn hustle, man.
Yeah, them guys didn't come to the debate. The real African. How many real Africans was there? And we got it on camera. It's on film. The Africans say we're not the same. We're not the same as the black African Americans. We're not the same. You know what? You guys are gone.
Hey. You got that Kemetic bullshit and that Egyptian bullshit is all dead, man. That's right. You lost your main girl, man. What's her name? Queen Latifah. She got a show come on in the morning on Channel 2. She thinks she's a white woman, man. She got blonde hair. You know, she's made up like the white woman. She's wearing the white woman clothes. She ain't talking about, but she kept the name Queen Latifah. Because her thing was supposed to be about black consciousness. She ain't in the black consciousness no more, man. Your greatest celebrity have left you, man. What else do you have? What else do you have? You came up against the Hebrew Israelites, then you got stomped. Okay? You got rocked. You got rocked.
From deep inside Africa, a sound is emanating that is causing reverberations around the world. It's the sound of Judaism. A sound of a people casting off 2 centuries of colonialism, returning to what they say are their native roots.
I know from birth I'm a Jew. Only I know that my forefather missed the way.
I grew up alongside every other Igbo youth. We kept on hearing that Igbo people came from Israel.
There was a story my mom told me at the age of 6 years. I never forget. He said the Igbos are Jews.
And it's the story of one man, Shemuel, who went searching for what that meant and found answers on the internet, prompting a journey that led him to a community of thousands of Jews. A place where resources are few, but commitment transcends. Through prayer, practice, ritual, diet, and song. But this is also the sound of doubt from Jews in America.
They would ask me, are you from America or where? I said, no, I'm a Nigerian. They say, you black? I said, yes. They said, no, it's not true.
And rejection from family and friends.
I am like an outcast among them.
And in this volatile Christian Muslim nation, doubt often turns to violence. This is the story of the Igbo, 25 million strong, a people once under siege by their very own government.
Biafra declared its independence.
And a people once captured and shipped across the Atlantic by the hundreds of thousands. A people who helped build America, and a people whose descendants are now discovering their Igbo roots, raising questions of cultural identity for countless African Americans.
Many African Americans actually do not know that they have Igbo heritage. The chances of their being Igbo is much, much higher than their chances of coming from Ghana or from Western Nigeria.
If you're from the right county in Virginia, you probably have a 60% chance of having Igbo ancestry.
It's a story of the strength of belief, ancestry, and community. Boosted by a visitor who inspires everyone and helps take Shemuel's dreams to a whole new reality. The Jews of Nigeria are re-emerging.